Hi guys. Okay, we are going to do a couple of stories today. And I know it's been a while since we've done that, not since last week. So again, I have two stories. One is Pete the Cat, and the other one is a little bit longer, How Full is Your Bucket? Which is one of my favorites. And I really like Pete the Cat too. So Pete the Cat, Pete at the, where is he? Let me see. At the Beach by James Dean. Here we go. Let me get comfy here. All right. It's a hot day. Pete the Cat goes to the beach with his mom and his brother Bob. And there they are. Let's go in the water, Bob says. Maybe later, says Pete. Bob likes to surf. He rides the big waves. It looks like fun. I'm hot, says Pete. Go in the water, says Mom. Maybe later, says Pete. Pete makes a sandcastle. His mom helps him dig. Here comes a big wave, and there goes Pete. What's Pete doing? It looks like Pete might be a little bit afraid. He's running away from the wave. Let's see what happens. Oh no! Where did his sandcastle go? I guess the waves knocked it over. Bob rides a big wave. Wow, says Pete. That looks like fun. Pete and his mom take a walk. They find seashells. They see a sea crab. Pete's feet get wet. His feet feel cool. The rest of him is hot. It's time for lunch. Pete eats a sandwich. He drinks lemonade. The sun is very hot, and Pete is very, very hot. Bob is wet and cool. Let's play ball, says Pete. No thanks, says Bob. I want to surf. Pete throws the ball. His mom catches it. Let's get our feet wet, says Mom. Well, okay, says Pete. The water is cool. It feels good. Pete goes in deeper. He's getting braver. Bob waves to Pete. I want to show you to surf, he yells. Pete does not say maybe later. He says, let's do it. He's ready to give it a try. Lie on the board, says Bob. Pete lies on the board. Paddle, says Bob. Pete paddles out, and he waits for a big wave. A big wave is coming. Stand up, says Bob. Pete stands up. Oh, hang on, page is stuck. There we go. Then Pete falls down. It was scary, but it did not hurt. Try again later, says Bob. Pete wants to try again now. Pete lies down again. He paddles out and waits. Here comes a wave. Pete stands up. This time he rides the wave. Good job, says Bob. Look at Pete go. Pete wants to surf all day. Bob does too. So they take turns. Pete and Bob rock and roll with the waves. What a great day. It is okay to be afraid, but it is more fun to surf. I like that book. We have lots of Pete the Cat books. Okay, are we ready for our next story? How Full is Your Bucket? Written by Tom Rath and Mary Reckmeyer. Illustrated by Maury J. Manning. Do we remember what illustrated by means? That is the person that draws all of the great pictures in the book. Okay, how full is your bucket? This is really one of my favorite stories. Okay, are we ready? Here we go. Felix was putting one of the last blocks on his tower when his little sister came in. I want to build with you, she said. Felix scowled. Go away, you're too little. I'm big. Stay back, you'll knock it over. I can be very careful. Go play with your baby, Anna. Whack! Oh, what did she do, guys? It looks like she took her baby and she banged it into his blocks because she was upset. Let's see what happens next. Grandpa! Grandpa shook his head. Felix, you just dipped from your sister's bucket. Like everyone else, Anna has an invisible bucket. When it's empty, she feels bad. But when it's full, she feels great. Did you ever notice your own bucket? Invisible bucket? Sometimes Felix couldn't quite tell when his grandfather was joking. Can you imagine an invisible bucket over our heads? Let's see what he's talking about. But the next morning when Felix woke up, there it was, a small gray bucket floating above his head. What's happening there? When Felix came down to have breakfast, his mom was in a hurry. I've got a meeting this morning and it's almost time to go. Anna, sit still. What's happening here? What's Felix doing? Okay. Felix slipped and cocoa wheat scattered across the floor. Felix yelled. His mom, you should have used a stool to reach that. Felix could feel his bucket tip and big invisible drips spill out. Drip, drip. Ha ha, Anna laughed as she crunched the cereal with her shoe. Drip. Get the broom and clean that up before you miss the bus, scowled Mom. When the school bus was honking, Felix quickly swept up the cocoa wheats and grabbed the last blueberry muffin. But before he could even take one bite, Buster jumped up and grabbed the muffin from his hand. Drip. Hey, look at Felix's new backpack. My baby brother has one just like it. Drip. Psst, psst. They're talking and Felix can't hear them. Drip. So all the water is dripping out of his bucket each time that he feels sad about something. Watch out, shrimp. Drip. Oh boy. It was still morning and Felix's bucket felt almost empty. As he watched his classmates walk into the room, he secretly hoped they would trip and fall. That's what it feels like when you have an empty bucket. Felix slumped into his seat and waited for something else bad to happen. Mrs. Bumblenickel walked slowly up to his desk and handed him a paper. He could hardly bear to look. "Felix, you wrote a wonderful story. Would you please share it with the class?" Felix grinned and felt a big drop land right in his bucket. The class grew quiet. They laughed at all the right places and oohed at the scary parts. When Felix finally read the end, everyone clapped, even Emily, who sat next to him and didn't usually like dinosaurs. Felix felt a whole shower of drops land in his bucket. Maybe the day wouldn't be so bad after all. Drop, plop, plink, drop. The Giganotosaurus Who Wanted a Pet by me, Felix. That must have been the name of his story. All right. Drop. Team captains today are Veronica and Felix. Drop. There's more water going in his bucket every time he feels happy. Nice cow. It's a dog. Well, it's nice colors there, Felix. Cool laser ant backpack, Felix. See water going into the bucket? It's filling up again. By afternoon, Felix's bucket was nearly full. At recess, when he looked around, Felix suddenly realized that his grandpa was right. Everyone else had a bucket too. Do we see all of the buckets over everyone's head? And as they feel sad, water falls out. But as they feel happy, water goes back in and fills the bucket. Drop, drop, let me help you. Drop, drop, here's your baseball. Catch. Thanks, dude. So now Felix is seeing what? I'm Felix, first day. Yes, I'm Amir. Drop, drop. The strange thing was that for every drop he helped put in someone else's bucket, he felt another drop in his own. So he was getting drops for making other people feel happy too. When Felix burst in the door after school, he shouted, "You were right, Grandpa. I do have a bucket, and I understand how it works." Then he saw Anna's torn doll. "Bad dog," he almost scolded. But then he thought dogs might have invisible buckets too. "Your doll will be okay, Anna," said Felix. "Mom will fix her." Wah! She's not happy. Until then, do you want to help me build the tallest building in the world with my blocks? And so they did. What a great story. My bucket feels very full this morning, and I'm hoping that I'm filling your buckets a little bit and making you happy with these stories. Let me think. So later on we will be back and we're going to work on our coloring pages. We thought it would be fun if the girls helped out and we work on holding our crayons properly and did some work on trying to stay in the lines and making our pictures for our very special surprise tomorrow. I will talk to you guys later. Have a great day.